Welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, and today we're going to figure some things out. I do have some Gentel today. That would be information. It's easier to say Gentel than information I received through interdimensional meditation from the archangels. And I also have some thoughts over coffee. And then we're going to take questions, ask me anything, and talk about our topics, and also any personal questions that you have. Please hold your personal questions until I ask you for them, because it's just too much to scroll back, and I haven't gotten the new glasses yet, so instead of me looking like this at the screen the whole time trying to find your questions, I'll just tell you when to ask. Okay, thank you everybody for joining me. I'm going to do this in a way that doesn't get me like banned or like, suicided or something like that. Today, interesting news lately, hasn't it been? It's been very interesting. Election year, we always get old characters coming out of the woodwork. Not uncommon to see that, but I had some questions about that. So I went into meditation today. We're just going to get right to it. And I didn't, we'll get the RV information out of the way first. Okay. Now, I didn't write this down. Yes, I did, but I wrote it down on my phone. So it's not in the actual Gentel that I'm going to put out. But so often, and I talk to thousands of people, and, been on the Real News Live show for years, and everybody wants to know when. When is this going to happen? When is the RV going to happen? When is all this going to happen? When am I going to see it? When? And all along the way, my biggest question has always been why and how. Because if we were to look into why and how, we'd have a better idea about when. So, right now, we've heard stories about rates on bank screens and people going into the bank and talking to maybe higher up managers, branch managers, people behind the counter. They're not going to know. They don't have the kind of clearance, okay? They don't have access to that screen. What they're going to pull up is the current public rate, okay? People at the counter, and they're going to say, I don't know what you're talking about. When you get somebody higher up who can access that redemption bank screen, there have been reports that somebody went in, made an appointment, it was like at 240. And then I was talking to Mike Bear, and I said, this is going up. Behind the scenes, it's going up. That screen is rising in value for us. So if you were to go into a bank and they access that screen and you talk to the right person, depending on when they decide to start doing that, you're going to get a higher rate than the public rate. Then we hear reports about the redemption center rates. Is there a difference? Why do the banks have one rate and the public has another? And then we have all this report of a different rate we're talking about the Iraqi dinar right now. Well, it's because I asked. I'm like, what's the difference? I'm not knowledgeable on the subject. I have no idea. And if what I got is wrong, oh, well, I try. But what I got is, if you go in and sit down with the bank manager, or a branch manager or somebody has access to the bank screen, that rate is supported by the bank. You're dealing with the bank. Your monies will go into a bank account. It isn't completely a bank transaction. What the bank does with it and turns it into the treasury after that, of course, they make more money, so they want you to do that. Okay. The redemption center rate is supported by the Treasury of the United States. Why is the rate rising on the bank screens? Because the back screen redemption center rate is predetermined and a contract rate between countries. Okay? That's why it's handled by the Treasury. The bank that you possibly go in and put your, like I said, there's a Treasury account from the redemption, okay? You're going to have an account with the U.S. Treasury, QFS, whatever you want to call it. That's why it's safe. It's with the Treasury, okay? Banks can go under unless the entire country goes under. You know, that's probably the safest place you can put it. When you go into a bank and you deal with the bank on the bank level, the bank's rate, back screen rate, is determined by the what's going on in Iraq, in that country, the economy of the country. It rises according to that. Okay? So it's like a business rate. They take a look. They've got, information on what's going on with their economy, what they're doing inside the country, that, it's just kind of like all this behind the scenes stuff. You've got, it's not public rate, bank rate, treasury rate, completely different. So let's say, if you were to go into the bank, they're going to give you a rate that is rising because the economy of Iraq is doing better. And you could possibly do business with that bank, get it in a bank account, fiat dollars, till such time as that changes. If you hold off and go to the redemption center when called, they are waiting for this bank rate, the economy rate, to rise to a certain point. Then they'll put out a public rate. The public rate will be different than the other two. And we have seen the public rate getting better. So the redemption center rate is predetermined. There's a contract between countries, between treasuries, and when you go in and do that, you are sitting down with a redemption center who is contracted with the U.S. Treasury. Large banks also contract with, I believe, the redemption centers, because they have enough funds to support your 1% or movement of money between your treasury account and what I called your holding account. Now, everybody's calling it a holding account. I just did that because it's what it looks like. You transfer money out of the treasury account into the holding account. And from there, basically, you can hold a large amount of money. From there, you move it around to wherever you want. Okay? This bank rate is rising. I guess if you're in dire straits, you could try to figure out, find somebody who will do it for you. I don't know what the timing is on the bank doing something like that, but really explains the whole massive campaign for wealth management while the country is not wealthy on an individual basis, for the most part. So we don't really know. We have suspicions, and I've gotten suspicions about rates and things like that. But that's the structure. All right. That's why it's different. That's why there's confusion. Well, I looked it up, and there's nothing posted that matches that. Well, it's because you saw the public rate at this point in time. And I asked, well, when are they going to release the better public rate? It will still be a public rate. The public rate will not match the redemption center rate, will not match the business rate that is on the screens with the banks. Okay, so I guess if you're in dire straits and you wanted to go and deal with the bank, you could do that. There are reports that people are starting to make appointments and do that now. But you would be taking quite a loss from what you would get if you waited and went to a redemption center. Tempted, tempted. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pull that off, but maybe I could find somebody to, and you could do that in fiat dollars, I suppose. If you just wanted to like get a little extra and pay everything off and sit there and wait. So that's the difference. That's what's going on. And I asked, when will they release the better public rate? Because once they do that, everything just boom. Okay. The activity on that worldwide is going to be massive. So why does the redemption the RV have to be done behind the scenes? Because of that. So I'm just guessing here. I guess I could ask. Okay. Kind of thinking that they're going to send out notifications to get people into appointments with redemption centers, authorized centers that would receive and contract with the Treasury for that best rate. Maybe right before they produce a really good public rate. Now that may be stupid. I'm not really knowledgeable in the whole and all of that. That's what I'm thinking. Because of the massive flow of people coming into exchange once that public rate goes up. So that's what I'm hearing about the RV right now. And I'm seeing that rate go up in reports. And I do believe those reports are accurate, that these people went in there and they were shown that at the bank level. But that's the bank's business. That's the bank's rate according to what's going on in the country. They have more inside information. They see what's really going on. We get the story. Okay. Now, this is Interdimensional Meditation by Jennifer Fallaw-Doering. Fallawsophy on Telegram. Anybody want to go there? Join us. For February 8th, 2024. And I was talking to Archangel Michael and Gabriel. Why is Hillary in the news again? Okay, so this is something that's truthers has gone back and forth with for a while. Okay, there's certain things that we know and we've heard and we suspect about that whole situation. And I asked Michael, and he said controlled opposition. I said, who controls her, and is that the real Hillary? Who is in control of her if she is an actor? The white hats or the black hats? So this is a question we've all gone back and forth with for a while. Like, okay, so like if she was like had military tribunal and no longer with us or something, why are we seeing her all over the place? Same with, the person who currently resides reportedly in the White House. Well, Michael said Hillary has controlled opposition from deep within the inner circle of the Communist Party. It is her character that is used to subdue the rising rebellion to the New World Order. The black hats control her character. Her execution death was held in private, and her character actor cannot be revealed because of that secrecy. It is a show of mockery by the dark side. And I said, well, who controls the current resident in the White House? I use the name. And hopefully I don't get banned. He said double agent. Well, that just got, we all kind of suspected that. So we've all been talking about this for a long time. Well, that doesn't make sense because I see her right there. And well, that's a mask. That's a clone. That's a, actor. Well, I don't really think it's a clone. I think they're actors. And I think that's probably more accurate. But what they do in a show of mockery against those that actually tribunaled them is, oh, yeah, you're going to take out our character, our person in secret? Well, we're just going to parade them around and have them everywhere in these, and we're just going to put it right in your face. And we're still going to cause you problems. And if you think, if you take out anybody else, we'll do the same damn thing. And the good side can't really say anything about it because there's a certain point in time when that all needs to be revealed. And if it were to be revealed individually earlier, we'll kind of mess up the plan. So the white hats have to deal with the black hats' mockery, and that is one of the dark side's favorite things to do. Create confusion, misinformation, mockery. They've done it with everything. They've done it with the programming. They've done it with our most sacred texts, the Bible, everything, rewritten it just to create confusion within there. Oh, well, Jesus came to tell us, no, God loves you unconditionally. God loves you. You're loved. And then they just, but, if you get divorced, we're going to throw you in a fiery pit of hell. Okay? And we don't love you anymore. But you're loved unconditionally. Okay? And that's what's confused all of us Christians and religious people forever, because we're like, oh crap, I better be good. I mean, really? Fire pit of hell, you say. So when you create confusion, you create separation. What does the concept of being loved unconditionally do to you? Does it make you want to act bad? No. Makes you want to do good things, makes you happy, makes you feel loved, makes you, it empowers you. It's like, well, yeah, I screwed that up. Totally screwed that up, God. But you're not giving up on me, right? Nope. Never give up on you as long as you don't give up on me. All right, I can do it. It empowers the population. And what they have to do with creating confusion is just like a cheating lover. No, you're stupid. You didn't see what you just saw. You don't know what you know. And part of you wants to believe it, like, oh, yeah, that would be kind of cool if this wasn't really happening right now. I didn't see what I saw. And we're presented with a choice. The truther community, although sometimes you get a little out of control with the theories, but they believe they saw what they saw. And so that whole grip on society right now, especially with Putin coming out, okay? That is just I don't know why that whole situation makes me laugh. It makes me laugh because it's so awesome, really. So the guy who told mainstream media, gave him the finger pretty much and went off on his own, is sitting there with Putin and doing an interview. How did he get that interview? Now, I asked, and I said, how did he get that interview? I mean, was it the big guy? And it wasn't. No. He said it was his staff, and he's known, and Putin thought that would be hilarious to do that. Plus, it's also strategic because we're just about to come out and reveal a lot of things about human trafficking. And I hate that word. I hate it when they call something. So they use some politically correct title or phrase or word for something, and people just glaze over like, oh, human trafficking. That must be just, people who want to be prostitutes and they're just running them across the borders and stuff like that. No, let's call it what it is. It's human slavery. I mean, it's consumption of human, God. I mean, if they would just call things what they are, we wouldn't have all these problems, but they don't. Why? Create confusion. Because pretty soon, when people become confused, you give it a label like that, and you can just downgrade it as much as you can in your own mind according to what you can handle. Well, he didn't really cheat on you. He just, they just it was just a friendly kiss. Oh, okay, yeah, I can handle that right now because I can't handle the other thing right now. I can't handle the reality of that right now, right? So that's human nature. And why is, and then we're going to move over. That's Gentile for today. We're going to move over to Thoughts Over Coffee because this is my whole, led me into this. Really can't see the small writing on the screen at all. So stab in the dark, all right, with this right now. And if I put my reading glasses on, then I have to put them up really high so that it looks stupid on the screen. So this is what you get until I pick up my glasses tomorrow. Okay. Now, why is programming important? Well, that would be a long explanation for me, and I would have to go all the way back to my God theory. And yes, I do have a God theory. Maybe I should. Let's see. How could I condense the God theory and explain this in a few minutes? I want you to think of it as a bullseye. Okay. Without telling the whole thing. And the way things are explained to me and the way I explain things is very simply. Okay. So that it is easily absorbed. So if you think of God as the dot in the center of the bullseye, and God was all-knowing, hanging out there. Everything is housed within the body of God. It always has been. It always will be. Everything exists somewhere. It was not the beginning, was not the word. It was a thought, the thought of creation. And once the thought of creation began, God knew that he had to separate himself so that he had other vehicles in which that would forget that they are him so that he could create or he could experience. Because all-knowing is not all-knowing without experience, is it? So, the thought of creation. And then he separated himself into the first ring around the bullseye. That would be everybody's true self, highest self. But he gave those pieces of himself the same, made in the image and likeness of him. So he gave those pieces of himself the power to create through thought. And they would forget that they are him, mostly, and go on to create, to experience. And so each separation of self. So this first ring around the bullseye had the ability to separate themselves again and again, and those then, and those then. And every separation of self must exist at a different vibrational level, a spectrum. Otherwise, it gets sucked back into the center of the bullseye. And that's how we all are. Long story short, The dark side has been trying to convince you that there is no God. That's a bunch of crap. You didn't see what you see. You don't know what you know, and you don't feel what you feel, and you are not creator. You are lowly and cattle to us, and you will do what you're told because we understand that your perception will create the reality for us that we want. And so then, hence the programming. They must control you through your mind. Whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you believe to be true, becomes your created reality. And they know it. They know that you are a little sliver of God who has the power to create a positive reality. And they want to chip away at that at every chance that they get to remain in control. And that's the true story about what's real going on. That is the war in heaven. That is the war. So we've got all these dimensions, these rings around the bullseye of lower vibrational levels. Right now, the one that we're in, battleground. And what Gabriel told me about that dimension, Archangel Gabriel, is that they were never supposed to be here. The dark side broke in, uses humanity as host to stay here, and they get to them through their own mind. Like just the old story, little angel, little devil on your shoulder, little devil's talking in your ear. Oh, hey, let's think about all the terrible things that, that has happened to you. And let's wear them as badges. And let's put everybody in categories and let's blame everybody for everything. And so then it starts going. You start thinking about this and that, and your vibration starts to lower. And then they can pull life force energy out of you, draw energy from you, and now they've got a host. So, why is that important? Because in order to understand why, it's not just about money, it's not just about power, they got all of that. It's not just about controlling humanity. Oh, we have to control them through their thoughts so that they could, if they had so much money and so much power, just put us all in pens and tell us what to do. Just take over the world. They know that because we are creators, if they were to put us in pens, we'd sit around and we'd start thinking. I was like, all right, how do we get out of this pen? So right now, we're at a place in this dimension, in this society, and where half of us are outside of the pen saying, dude, the door is open. Come out of the pen. And they're like, no, I think I'll stay in here because this is where I'm comfortable. I wasn't told to come out of the pen. I don't like to think for myself. And so that's what we're dealing with right now. The dark side knows this. And that is why they don't want you empowered. They don't want you happy. Society, that vibration of the world collectively starts getting up there and they're like, well, let's do something terrible, like have a pandemic. Or, let's have another war. Let's have a lot of, poverty. Let's keep them at a level where they don't rise too high and they don't remember who they truly are. And that's the whole thing in a nutshell. So you remember that. Thoughts over coffee were big today because that leads us back to they've taught us to be our own worst enemy. Even the fads and in society, the images that they put out, of women so thin but that has changed. It always changes. And they tell you, okay, well, the fashion industry and the TV and the magazines, and they put out, this is beautiful now. And if you don't look like this, then you're not beautiful. You're not worthy of love. They give us lists in school. Like, what are we going to achieve? Who are you going to be when you grow up? You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a lawyer. Choose from the list because anything else is irresponsible. Don't be an entrepreneur. But then who is it that we idolize on TV and everything? The people who it's okay for their team to be entrepreneurs and to be successful and everything. And anybody outside of their circle that does that, they'll corrupt them. I'll say, yeah, we can't really have that. You need to get back in that pen. And the person says, well, okay, I'll join the dark side. And then they do. Or they trick them into doing so. So, us, there's all this talk about being high vibrational, being all this stuff, oh, we're so evolved because we know what's been going on behind the scenes. Not yet, we're not. Because in your quiet moments, when you look in the mirror, when you take a look at your life, you're still comparing yourselves to other people. You're still comparing yourself to the ideals that they put out there for us to comply with. One time I was somewhere. Oh, no. The cat story is even better. Okay, so this story is kind of what woke me up to that. All right. So I had, when the girls were little, I don't know if they're like 7 and 9, this little cat showed up. Smallest thing, biggest mutt you've ever seen. Okay. Every color of the rainbow on this thing. She looked like a peanut shell because there were so many different, and so we called her Peanut, and I said, don't feed that cat. And then my kids out there giving it, I think it must have been after Easter, giving them ham and Cheetos. I'm like, great, there we go. Now we have another cat. So we had this cat for a while. Sweet little thing. Smallest cat you ever seen in your life. And she isn't. That cat's hardy. I mean, she's still there. I have no idea how old she is, but she's still the stray that I feed, and I've had her for many years. So one day I'm standing out talking, kids are playing in the street. I'm talking to the neighbor, Teresa, and she was hilarious. And so we used to talk all the time. And I'm standing there, but when I first got the cat, I was looking at her and I'm like, yeah, you're the ugliest thing I've ever seen. I mean, I'm going to have to take care of you. I'm just going to have to do it. My perception at that time was that this cat was ugly. Didn't really fit into any category of cat. I don't know what to call it, And then I'm talking to Teresa out by the mailbox. Kids are playing in the street, and the cat comes up and is rubbing on my leg, and she goes, what a beautiful cat. And I'm like, and I looked at her, and then I saw it. And forevermore, I believe that's a beautiful cat. It wasn't until somebody other opinion that I gave a lot of value said it. And I'm like, that is so, and then I was thinking about that for a long time. I was like, that's so odd that all of a sudden I saw it. And whatever made me believe that she wasn't. So it's every moment, it's everything you've seen, everything you've heard, and how it changes over time. It's the programming in your head. And it has forced us, or encouraged us, to be our own worst enemy, inside in our thoughts. And you may be, curbing your behaviors, curbing the words that come out of your mouth. Good. That is very good. That's a good place to start. But if you are still the greatest villain in your own mind, telling yourself you're fat, you're ugly, you're unsuccessful, comparing yourself to everybody else, comparing yourself, unless you're doing something really destructive that's having a negative effect on your life. Most people, you see somebody that you would say was rich. Well, that's all relative. I mean, that depends on where you're standing. That depends on what your definition of rich or successful or beautiful would be. And another thing my mom told me, there's always, I call them the famous one-liners. The angels kind of teach me that way. Jesus talks like that. But I remember my mom telling me a story once. She went to her father, very strong soul, had a lot of faults, but Very, very strong religious Catholic man. And she went to him one time when she was younger and said, I don't know, Papa. We all called him Papa. She says, I don't know if I'm pretty enough. I don't know, I don't know if I'm pretty. I don't know if I'm thin. I don't know if I'm successful. I don't know if I'm, and having a hard time and talking to him about all those things. And he listened to her. And he said one thing, and she passed it on to me, and it has popped up so many times. And it is compared to what and according to who? Because in my mind and in my eyes, you are all those beautiful and wonderful things. And I'm like, oh, what a lesson. I mean, that's a thinker. It really is. Who determines? Who says? Who decides your worth? We give this power out to people in our past who aren't even around anymore. Somebody said something when you were a kid. Some ex-husband or some, stepmom or somebody who said something or did something to you. And that moment and those moments and those people, they're gone. Absolutely gone. The only thing that's keeping it alive is us learning to keep replaying the negative in our minds and destroy our positive creation, destroy our own happiness. Well, it's like me when I grew up, I was like a size bigger than my friends. Okay, maybe two sometimes, but mostly just one size. That's my thing. I mean, how pretty do I really have to be? Come on. Tired of that crap. Anyway, so, but I always felt less than them because, the men, they're like, oh, well, all the nudie magazines and all the movies and everything say that women should look like this. And, you won't quite fit into that category. So it was like guys either like didn't like me or they're totally in love with me. One or the other. Didn't matter. But nobody was saying that to me. I mean, this is an interpretation that I'm coming up with in my mind. Oh, okay, well, I'm not as good as the skinny girl. She's going to get him, so I don't try. Screw it. But then finally you live and you learn and somebody comes along and it says, you're like an angel or you're absolutely beautiful. And I would always be like, yeah, they're just being nice to me. Oh, that's really nice. That's nice. But you see what we do? This is what stops us from accomplishing things. I wanted to be a journalist in high school. I was in like honors English and in the school paper and running around with camera and everything else. That was so much fun. And everybody discouraged me not to. Well, chances of that are really slim. So you might as well just fall back into one of these categories on this list here and be a good girl. All right. And I'm like, well, that's no fun. All right. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to, I studied business because it was responsible, right? Always been highly creative. But it's funny, full circle. Why did I want to be a journalist? Because I wanted to have a voice. Why did I want to sing? I wanted to have a voice. I wanted to be heard. And I also wanted to be a psychologist. And then somebody said, oh, well, you got to go through all these years of this, the schooling and the volunteer and the, internship and all this stuff. And, it's the chances are, why don't you just be a good girl and go back and do one of these things in this category here that you're capable of? Because I don't really think that's probably going to happen. And I'm like, fine. What am I doing now? I have a voice. Yeah, I'm a psychic, if you want to call it that. But more than anything, I am a psychologist when you come to me. But I ask the questions and we talk it through and we get to some kind of conclusion. If people come to me broken and battered and they walk away better, and I feel good about that more than anything. So everything kind of came full circle, and I did it anyway. Bastards with your list. But it's those voices that tell us that, well, maybe you should take a step back and stay in the pen here, that limit us. It is us in our own mind replaying these things, and we have to stop doing that. We have to stop being our own worst enemy. And, the out-of-body bad guys that are floating around that don't want to go home to the bad place, well, they want a host, okay? And they're going to stand next to you, and they're going to influence. The most powerful place for any of them is your own mind. So, how do we pull out of that? How do we pull out of an entire lifetime of programming of negative thought patterns? Well, you can try what I did. Yes, it is. No, you do not master it. No, you get better at it. You pull out of things a lot quicker. The thoughts still come. Just depends. Sometimes you do real good with it, and sometimes you don't. That's life. But as soon as you have that negative thought, you just want to stop. Cold stop. Nope. Say no in your mind, not out loud. People think you're crazy. In your mind, and replace it with the opposite positive thought. You ever seen, I don't know, I guess we should call it a short man complex. And if you're short, I'm not trying to make fun of you. But listen, I remember guys growing up that were like so insecure, they would tell themselves over and over and over and over how great they are. And when one comes around, because you sit down, they want to go out with you, and they're telling you how great they are. You're getting the sales pitch, and it's like, well, why would you do that? I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you. Can't I decide? You tell someone something over and over again, repetition, and they will believe it. You tell yourself something over and over again, you will believe it. Well, let's take that negative example and turn it into a positive one. Do you think you told yourself over and over again that you were smart, you would believe it? Or if you were beautiful, if you were just okay the way you are right now, think you start to believe it? Do you think if you started to believe it, that you would create a version of yourself to match those beliefs? Yes, you would. Yes, you would. So, as we move forward in time, baby steps, people. This is a hard one, okay? We're going to take our power back from the devil on their shoulder who keeps talking in our ear and reminding us of every reason we have to be miserable. And we're going to start creating as those slivers of God. And when you pray and you pair up with the center of the bullseye, he wants this for you too. You've got even more power of creation. That's why the power of prayer is so powerful, because when people come together and really mean it and submit and bring that center of the bullseye in there, that power of creation is strong. And we know that. We've seen that. So, we need to stop engaging with the enemy. We need to stop dwelling within and fighting with like all these trolls and all these people. And, these people will say one thing and we'll just blurt out all this defense of ourselves. Like that person has so much power over who you are. I mean, yeah, they could influence other people, but you know what influences other people the most? Your example, the way you conduct yourself. I've had people walk in, like someone walking in late to class mid-semester, sit down, and tell me I'm evil. And I'm like, well, if anybody's, if you're going to come late to class, sit in the back, shut up until you catch up. Because nobody else who's been here is going to say that. Because they know what I'm about, what I'm doing. Same deal goes with you. If we choose to dwell in this, negative thoughts are very low vibrational. You want to look at it that way? We choose to keep dwelling in that, your vibration is going to lower to match that. Okay, what happens when you die? Well, you probably go to the ring around the bullseye that matches your vibration. If we create with thought, everything is housed within the body of God, and everything is created with thought. The more energy, positive thought creates, negative thought destroys, and then you get something in the middle, and that's your reality. That's your personal reality. If more of us will become more positive and to think together and believe that things are going to get better, that we're going to see this, see it in your mind, say it, see it, be it. Stop. Some of the things we say to ourselves in the head, your worst enemy wouldn't say out loud. We have to stop doing that. And if we felt more love inside, if we felt better about ourselves, if we felt more comfortable and okay just being who we are right now, do you think we'd be more loving to other people, more accepting of other people? Yeah. Anyway, I could go on forever with that one, but that's the Thoughts Over Coffee for today. So let's start thinking more positive. Replace every negative thought with a positive one. Compared to what and according to who? Remember that. All right. Let's get over to the questions. Wait, let's put the banner up. I did make a banner for this. And where is it? Excuse me. Any second now. There we go. Okay, let's get over to the comments and see what everybody wants to know. And I'm sorry about the Telegram thing. I don't know how to turn that off. Notifications on that, I've tried. Okay, she's talking about, Karen wants to know about Colorado SCOTUS case to eliminate Trump from the ballot due to his son, due to his non-guilty insurrection status. Okay. How is this going to go? It goes in his favor. I don't know how to explain all that, but it does. It's in his favor. Yeah, it goes well. Eventually. I'm feeling guilty because I want to freely enjoy my retirement while I'm able, but stuck in servitude out of obligation. When will I be in control of my few years I have left? Oh, God. Pretty soon. Because there's something else attached to that only God knows. Only God knows the day. I'm just going to say pretty soon. It is coming. Okay. Yeah, Colorado Trump thing. Let's go down the bottom. All right. And I didn't tell you to put your questions up. Sorry. I forgot about that. I get very involved in what I'm saying. What do we got, Joe? What's going on? Yeah, if you had a bad thought pop up in your head, you could say that is a lie, and they go away. That's a good idea. You could do it that way. You know what the kids and I did? I realized the positive thought thing came in before I really had the God theory or anything like that years and years ago. Okay. And the kids were probably like, just getting to the age where they were thinking about what they look like and, comparing themselves to others and stuff. And I would do the same thing. I'd go in the bathroom and look at and be like, oh my God. Oh my God, you're fat and your hair looks like, what the hell are you doing? Fix yourself up, and I would say that in my head, And then I told them, we're not going to do this anymore because I saw them doing it. They were learning from me. They were doing that to themselves, and it just broke my heart. My God, you're the most beautiful, little creations in the entire existence of anything ever. And my babies, oh my God, And so we decided to, instead of having those negative thoughts when we look in the mirror, to announce out loud in the house. I said, only in the house, don't do it outside. I am beautiful and thin, and so it was hilarious because after a while, all of a sudden out of the other side of the house, you hear somebody yelling, I'm beautiful and thin, and we'd all laugh. And it was like laughter. Another thing, add more laughter into your life because it really is the fastest, not at another's expense, of course, but it is really the fastest way to raise your own personal vibration. And what happens when you raise your personal vibration? You have a higher concentration of the light of creation within you. What happens when that happens? You heal faster. Everything runs better. Judy C. My name is Judy, and my mom Diane saw a spirit in her house in the middle of the day. She did not recognize this soul. Can you tell the purpose of this? Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. Does she have a sister who passed? I didn't recognize this. Well, sometimes they look different. But what Michael just said is sister. We do have family at home that we're not aware of from other lifetimes, from like soul family. We have like a soul clique that we decide to, okay, this time, it's like, okay, last time I was your best friend, but this time I'm going to be the annoying brother who tortures you for your entire life and makes you be strong and do all that stuff. How about that? And we're like, yeah, that'll be awesome. Let's do that. And then you get home and you're like, oh, that was funny. And when it was happening here, we completely forgot it wasn't funny at all. Okay. James Foster is wondering when my son will get out of jail. August. Okay. Let's see. What else do we got? Dorothy's daughter, Brandy. Brandy is at a doctor's appointment, pain in the lower back. Yeah. Okay. Might be a slight chance that we've got kind of like a kidney infection brewing, something going on. I do feel like it's intestinal and not so much, or it's in there with the organs. It's not so much structural. But she will be okay. I think they're going to prescribe something. Ray Richmond recently fired from a job, applied for disability, can't find a job. It's ridiculous is how hard it is to get on disability because of all the illegals. Anyway, that's another thoughts over coffee topic. You're going to fight it. They're going to give you the runaround. I think if you keep going back, you'll get it. Pretty soon it won't matter. All right, let's see. What else we got? Kenneth. Let me see, Kenneth. Yeah, but I think you got to pair up with somebody else on that. Interesting. So if you're single, that's good news. Let's see. See me getting a job, or the RV kicking in, and I start my own venture, Scott Ferguson. Right now, you got to stay focused on that job. Okay? Because I don't want to tell you, no, don't get a job, RV's going to happen, and you sit around. Because right now, it's pretty crucial that you go and get something. Not just because there is a delay before you receive funds, for one. I do believe it's right around the corner. I mean, we're expecting something this week, really, actually, notifications. But you know how that goes. We got all kinds of people trying to fight that and push it off again. They can only really push it off like another month and a half, and that's it before everything explodes. So focus on getting the job. Okay. And then when everything happens, you can move on to that venture. I just don't want to deter you from doing what you have to do in the meantime. Okay. So my brother just diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Will he be open to using castor oil compressions or ivermectin as options for cures? Open anything right now. Yeah. Yeah. Send me his name and picture, and I will put him on my cancer healing list, biweekly or monthly, depending on what I see when I see him, but we'll probably do biweekly. Absolutely free. Send it to me. Quite a few people that I do that for free healing. False flag during the Super Bowl. No. No. Why? Why? Because it's a big money maker. That's why. And they need money right now. And I just don't see it. It's kind of like, they may be doing things behind the scenes, typically at the Super Bowl and everything, because of the large gathering of people and all the distraction, but they've got enough behind the scene area to do their own things. And as far as no, I don't think so, because they don't want the distraction. They want you watching what they're doing. They want the programming. They want the commercials. They want the money. So no, doesn't make any sense to do that. Lisa, you're welcome. Do you see me in Vegas on the 21st of this month? No, it's going to be a little later. Okay. I don't know why. Oh, wow. That was strange. I thought I was out of comments, and I hit new comments, and it just... All right. Here we go. Wait a minute. Did I miss that one? No. Yeah, the Super Bowl, I think it's probably going to be fine. No. Mm-mm. They go together. There's definitely a trigger. All right. There is definitely, like, Iraq is the trigger for them to go. But I believe behind the scenes, everything has been getting up to a point where they say, okay. And so, and then looking at the bank rate, that tells me that that's true. So, no, I don't think the dong will first by itself or anything. Okay. Thomas Klein, you see my son getting his own home. Thomas Klein, son. Within 8 months. Yes, that is good. Okay. Danny Morgan. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, most of the time I have no idea what I'm doing, but we just get on here and be brave and do it, and that's and hopefully it turns out well. And yeah, I think this one I don't know. I think I probably said too many names. You could share it, um, but then hey, I've got like the label of psychic, so I can just like totally disregard it and discredit it because I'm a psychic. So there you go. No need to come to my house and or do anything like that. Ban my show or anything. So, please do share if you get something out of the show. It helps me out. It's not like I get any money out of it, but like, it's kind of cool. People share things. Okay, positive results on the test results. Megan, Angus, let's see. Yeah, mostly positive. Okay, no real big problems there. One little tiny concern, but I think that it's just something that they're saying, well, let's just keep an eye on that, but these doctors, they always say that. Well, you're in the clear, but why don't you keep coming back to the office over and over again so that we can keep charging the insurance and make a whole bunch of money off of your problem. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but Jenna sent an email to my 17-year-old daughter. I hope you find it. Is there something attached to her? Well, the 17-year-old daughters, I know a lot about that. All right. I just got done with that whole situation. Now they're in the early 20s, and I'm not, it's a little better. Okay. It's a little better. But it wasn't pretty. It's not for the faint of heart. When you have the babies and then the little girl's like, oh, my precious little girl, and the dresses and the stuff and the toys, and it's so much fun. And then they turn into a teenager, and you're like, and halfway along the way, you're thinking, yeah, I nailed that. I have done the mom thing, and I did a good job at that. And then they get to about, 15, you start to see it, and then about 16, you're like, I don't know, God, maybe I screwed the whole thing up. I have no idea. I mean, what's really going on. I'm scared to death, and this is not fun anymore. But then you make it through, and then you get to they hit 20, and you're like, wait a minute. I'm really not having as many, emotional outbursts and all that all over the house. And, I think they actually cleaned the room, what's going on? It's getting better. The smoke is clearing, and so now we're into 21 and 23, and I'm hopeful. So hope I didn't screw everything up. All right. Michael. Yeah. Not in a bad, whole, scary movie kind of way. No, but there's quite a bit of influence, and she's from the people around her. So it might be a good idea to get her cleansed. Oh, that's interesting, Jane Meyer. One time I believe I saw a movie out of the corner of my eye. I felt that it was the spirit of the woman who lived and died here right before I bought the house. Well, it depends on what you saw in the corner of your eye. You want spirits and stuff appear in the corners of your eyes because you've got your first perception here and you've got your second perception. That tunnel vision is your first perception. And according to your programming, you will see or not see something. If you were taught every moment of your life that it's perfectly okay to see spirits and they're with us and everything is good, you're going to see them a lot. Right? Dead on. But because of our programming, your brain works that fast with your tunnel vision, with your first perception, to get rid of anything that is not accepted, that is not okay, that is, and then so the second perception, your peripheral vision, that's more natural instinct. Okay, that's there so that you can see danger coming, something flying Wait a minute, are we still here? That sucked. My internet went down. Can you guys still see me? Please comment if you can. Cool. All right. Well, maybe I should be. I don't know. I don't know what just happened. I have no idea. I posted on Telegram that I wasn't connected anywhere. Maybe I should be a little more careful what I talk about. That's so stupid. I hate that. It's like, oh, Jen, don't go do your own show so you can say everything that comes to your mind and you can just really, hash things out and be open and all that stuff. And then, well, no, we don't talk about that. And then they pull you down. I don't know. I don't know if that happened. That'd be, probably don't have that kind of following. So anyway, I am back. Did I answer that question? Yeah. So the second perception is your natural instinct. But so the reason you see things moving in the corner of your eye, what we want to do is we want to freeze when that happens. We don't want to look. We want to try to gather as much peripheral vision information as we can before our brain tells us that that's not possible, and we're going to make that go away. That's why you see things, all the spirits out of the corner of your eye. It's not that they're so good. Hey, Joey, you're not in her peripheral vision. Get back in there. No, it's not like that. It's just because that's how our vision works as human beings, and it's all according to what you will accept and not accept. It's like the more you start opening up to truth, the more you start opening up to possibilities and spiritual concepts and things, you will perceive more. Because something in your mind says, well, maybe that is okay. Maybe it is possible. All right. I'm going to get going here pretty soon. Yeah, I can't believe I'm still, the whole thing went down. I mean, closed it out and everything. I'm still live. So if I had just gone away, it would just keep streaming. Anyway. Yes. Okay. So let's do a little promotion here so everybody knows where to find me. I always get so wrapped up in what I'm saying, I forget to do that. Now, if you'd like to talk to me personally, get a personal reading from me, a healing, anything like that, go to jenniferfallaw.com. I do have some specials up right now. I usually have something on sale because mommy loves a sale. Okay. And, and I really don't buy anything unless it's on sale. But you should, I probably shouldn't say that. But that's just who I am. So I always put up some kind of sale. All right. So go to jenniferfallaw.com. You do have to email me to schedule things, to get gift cards, to send, especially to send me information for the healings, of course. I was just working on that yesterday, and I got so frustrated that I decided to put it aside because I was GoDaddy. I have this website with GoDaddy forever. And then like last year or something, and then I was clients were able to schedule themselves and everything was cool. And then they said, hey, why don't you sign up for GoDaddy payments? Because it was the whole PayPal thing and everybody's saying, oh, well, can't we just, do you have other ways to pay? And that option looked like it was going to be easier. And then all of a sudden, so I sign up for that, and all the money starts going through there, and they're like, oh, why all of a sudden you have all these transactions from this person? And so they looked at my website, they saw the word reading, and they sent me something saying, we're sorry, you're like a fortune teller and you're a risk. And it's like, I've been paying yearly for your website for like, I don't know how many years. And I just decided to sign up for GoDaddy payments and they banned me. So now my scheduling doesn't even work on the website. I have to schedule everything by hand, and the emails are just like ridiculous. I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed, And I was thinking, I should get an app. So if there's anybody out there who knows how to build an app and would like to trade for stuff, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I get very frustrated with technical things. I mean, I can do it, but there's going to be a lot of cussing. It's going to take a while. Okay. If you'd like to connect with me, go to Fallawsophy on Telegram. That's where I'm at most of the time. Yes, I still am on Facebook, Free Psychic Readings, Beacon of Light group there, Beacon of Light radio chat there, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering on Facebook. But most of the time, if you really want to hear what I think and what's going on, Fallawsophy on Telegram. All the Gentel shows and notes are posted on Jennifer Fallaw-Doering on Telegram. And that's about it. That's all that, I did have somebody who wanted to be a sponsor of this show, but it was for Ivan. And I'm like, oh, that's the quickest way to get yourself paid. Let's talk about that every day. So, yeah, I'm not really, I just do my own thing. Okay, everybody. I'm going to get going. I got to get to some serious work here. And, but I am enjoying this show, just coming on here and doing whatever I want, do what I want. And that you guys all come here and join me in that. I'm kind of excited about the weekend. I'm kind of in a nervous little, I'm like expecting it like any day now. Some major big news and movement on the RV front. I'm also, something interesting happens on Saturday, and I think it's more related to politics, but we'll see. So keep your eyes and ears open. Replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Take God-centered. Have that ongoing conversation in your head with God. That's the best help you're going to get. And I will see you back here for Fallawsophy on Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. And then on Monday, I'll be back on Real News Live on Rumble with Mike Barra. Mike Barra on Real News Live. We have this joke that I told him, like, well, you only just say Jen and you don't say my name on your other people's shows. It's like you're taking my stuff and you're not even giving me credit for it. It's rude. First of all. And so now he like spells my whole name out on his other show. I think it's hilarious. Anyway, I'm going to get going. So you guys have a wonderful day. Keep it positive. Bye.